Well, there are growing concerns over the spread of avian flu. The FDA announced that traces of the bird flu are showing in samples of grocery store milk. Now, outbreaks have been reported at poultry facilities, and America's largest egg producer is also dealing with the virus after a person from Texas caught the bird flu. Joining me now is Dr. Abraar Karan from Stanford Health Care. Abraar, good morning to you. First off, how concerned should we be about this? Is the virus evolving to infect other animals and potentially people?
Thanks for having me. It is definitely concerning. The outbreak that we've seen in cattle, it's something that we hadn't seen before where it's spreading to this level. As you mentioned, there was some samples of milk, even, in the grocery stores that was found to be positive for fragments of a virus, but not live virus. The reason that's a little bit concerning is that even though, milk is still safe to drink, the pasteurization process kills live virus. It does mean that some infected cow, milk had made it in, then technically infected cows we're not supposed to be taking milk from them, even though it is getting pasteurized. So that is a little bit of a problem, but milk is still safe.
Okay, so then how concerned should we be about drinking milk or eating eggs? Tests by the FDA show that pasteurization does work, like you mentioned, to kill off the bird flu in milk. But what about the unpasteurized dairy products? Retail sales of raw milk are legal here in California. So do we stay away from those?
I would stay away from raw milk, yes. Again, the transmission of the virus is primarily with direct contact with infected animals. So the one case that we did see in a worker in Texas, that was the situation. And also in the environment of people that are working in these environments as well. There isn't effective transmission between humans at this point, but again, these viruses change pretty quickly. In terms of transmission from food products, I would say we don't have to worry about that unless you're consuming raw milk, in which case, theoretically, it would be possible, and it is more likely, of course, than if you're drinking pasteurized.
Okay, again, it's rare, but what are the symptoms of bird flu in humans? Like, what precautions should we take to avoid becoming infected? And is there a bird flu vaccine?
Yeah, these are great questions. So symptoms-wise, flu-like symptoms, essentially, which makes it very difficult. I see patients in the urgent care in San Jose on some shifts even recently where people are coming in with symptoms that most of the time, it's just run-of-the-mill respiratory viruses. Conjunctivitis is a symptom that we saw in the case that was infected. He had very red eyes. But again, many viruses can give you conjunctivitis. In terms of staying protected, again, this is mostly important for people working directly with animals. Of course, we do have a lot of farmers in our state using personal protective equipment, N95 masks, gloves, eye protection. And in terms of vaccines, I believe you asked, there are two candidate vaccines. The U.S. Assistant Secretary for Health and Human Services and for Pandemic Preparedness has commented on this, saying that they are bringing the stockpile up, but these are based on older virus strains from 2020, so we don't know how effective these vaccines would really be if we needed to deploy them. So it's a complicated situation.
All right, Dr. Abraar Karan with Stanford Health Care, thank you for the time this morning.
Thanks.